If you're the average TF2 player, you've probably played Upward for hundreds, if not thousands of hours. And you might think you know everything there is to know about the map. But I'm here to prove you wrong, and show you some of Upward's best kept secrets. And trust me when I say you should watch to the end of this video, because I guarantee there will be things in here that you had no idea existed. Even if you are the most seasoned of TF2 veterans. Let's get to it. So there's various signs on Upward that point you in the direction of the control points. And some of these signs can change out after blue caps a certain point. All of the signs that change at some point all share one weird property. They're all very sticky. If you jump into these signs, you will get stuck inside of them, sometimes just for a second, and sometimes permanently. The reason why this happens is pretty complicated. Shunic has a great video about it that I'll link to in the description. But the simple answer is that when this sign gets swapped out, the normal sign is swapped out with an evil, nefarious, messed up sign that miscalculates what's supposed to happen when you touch it. You might think this is some useless knowledge, but you can actually use the sign's stickiness to your advantage in a bunch of different ways. If I jump into the sign and get stuck, I'm constantly airborne because my feet are not touching the ground. This means that items that do special things while airborne or rocket jumping can be permanently active whilst you're stuck in the sign. If you rocket jump into it, the Market Gardener will always crit, and the airstrike will always have increased attack speed. This sign in particular is right outside of blue team's spawn, so you can get stuck in it with the airstrike and just spawn camp people with crazy fast attack speed rockets. You can also just, you know, hold out your shovel and cross your fingers that someone walks up to you and lets you, like, hit them in the face. Another benefit of these signs is that it gets you stuck in a variety of different ways. When I rocket jump into it, sometimes I get teleported immediately out of the sign back onto the ground. Sometimes I get stuck in the sign for a small amount of time and then get kicked out. And sometimes I get completely stuck, unable to move even if I shoot rockets at myself. The only way to get unstuck here is to die. And each variety of being stuck has a way that it can be abused. Getting permanently stuck allows you to give yourself infinite velocity. I can be stuck in this wall and shoot myself with rockets all day long. And despite the fact that I'm not moving, every single rocket I fire will add knockback to my measured velocity, which is represented by this number here. And if an enemy player stands on my head while I have a ton of velocity like this, they will be launched great distances. This is called a stuck launch, and I hit a bunch of crazy stuck launch clips in this video. You should go check that out. Getting teleported out of the sign to the ground isn't particularly useful, but it does let you get stuck inside of enemy players, which is, you know, funny, I guess. And getting partially stuck, where the sign gets you unstuck after a second or two, lets you do some very crazy things. When you get partially stuck, you can shoot rockets at yourself to give yourself velocity without actually moving. Then, when the game unsticks you, all of that velocity will send you flying in one direction. With the rocket jumper, you can only fit in 2 rockets before the sign will get you unstuck. But a double rocket jump sends you really far and lets you get some really cool kills. Yes, I got him! I got Evil Pickle! With the airstrike, you can shoot up to 4 rockets at yourself and get launched at 1 billion miles an hour out of the sign. This is really cool on paper, but sadly in practice, it's incredibly useless. This is just way too much speed to be usable from this spot on the map. And there's one more thing these signs let you do. Oh yeah. Oh my god! If you get a player stuck in the sign with the airstrike, and then you get another player to heal them with the quick fix, that player's rockets will apply knockback to the medic. And because of the super high attack speed on the airstrike, you can give your medic like 4 rockets worth of speed in a really short time and send them absolutely flying. Most of the signs on this map don't really make too good use of this tech, but this sign right here is perfect for it on blue team. If the medic beams the soldier and then stands all the way back in this corner, they can jump right before the soldier starts firing, and they can ramp slide all the way up these tracks and get launched across the map. Strafing left with this much speed is very difficult, so you need to slam into this wall before you start turning, or else this strafe is basically completely impossible. Another really clever trick is to use the overdose. The overdose gives you extra movement speed while you hold it based on your uber charge. So with 100% uber, you walk at the same speed as a scout. And if you didn't know, the walk speed of your character affects how fast you can strafe. A heavy has to turn his mouse quite slowly to gain speed while strafing. If you turn your mouse even a little bit too fast, you'll start losing speed instead of gaining it. But a faster class, like a scout, can turn their mouse way faster before they begin to lose speed. Without the overdose, hitting a ramp slide on this cliff here is possible, but it's extremely difficult. But with the overdose, it's almost trivial, and this allows you to strafe super far into the enemy team to get a crazy kill. Okay, that one was crazy. Oh my god. That one was fucking crazy. That was beautiful. Yeah, that one was sick. These signs have more potential too. A stuck launch off this sign could hit some pretty hilarious clips, but I didn't actually go for that because I've shown a billion stuck launches on this channel, and I'm in rehab for my crippling stuck launch addiction anyway, so someone else will have to do that on my behalf with these signs because my doctor tells me I gotta stay away from the stuck launches, you know? So if you thought launching across the map was crazy, this one is 10 times more absurd than that. This is called a Seamshot. It's a bug in the Source engine that allows you to shoot straight through walls. Check this spot out right here. If I aim at the exact right spot, right at the edge of this beam where these two walls meet, my sniper dot will visibly disappear into the wall. And if I fire a bullet, you can see it go through the wall onto the other side. This green line is the path my bullet took when I fired it. There's no gap in the wall here. If I open up Hammer Editor and go to this part of the map, you can see quite clearly these two walls are touching with no gap in between. But because of a funny Source engine bug, the game is incorrectly calculating the bullet collision of this wall, which creates a tiny gap in the collision despite there not actually being a gap in the wall itself. If that sounded super complicated, well that's because it is. But if you want to get to the nitty-gritty details of it, there's a great video explaining it in detail made by How that I've linked down in the description. But this allows you to get kills that really do just make you look like you're cheating. I killed a guy instantly. I got one immediately. That was the first shot I fired. Oh! I got you!
That wasn't even like me being a paid actor either. I was just chilling.
Was it actually?
Like you have an
Yeah, I was just walking around.
Although a lot of the time, you wouldn't actually kill the guy. You'd sort of just make them really confused.
There again.
I'm kind of just... Oh, I got someone.
You hit him, yeah.
I got his.
He's 32 health. He doesn't know what's going on. He just walked back into spawn.
So yeah, if you happen to see some psychopath sniper randomly staring at a wall for 5 minutes, he could be a free-to-play who installed the game 15 minutes ago. Or he could be a 10,000-hour gigabrain hitting the lineup of the century that you just couldn't possibly imagine.
Just trying to vibe.
Oh, I got him! I was aiming with Swag's cam. That's crazy. He types how.
His name Nostradamus, and he still couldn't figure that one out.
The gaps in collision that you're firing through are incredibly small, but bullets in the Source engine are calculated with rays, infinitely thin lines that are drawn from the player firing the bullet directly to what they're aiming at. So because rays are infinitely thin, they can go through any gap of any size as long as you get the lineup right. Bullets from hit scan weapons like snipers and shotguns are all rays, and they will go through the gap. Splash damage from explosions is also calculated with rays, so the rocket itself is too big to go through the wall, but the splash damage from that rocket can go through and damage people on the other side. And certain types of taunt kills can also go through the wall. All of these taunt kills work by casting a ray in the exact same way as a sniper bullet works, but that ray is just very short ranged. But if the wall is thin enough, your taunt can go through the seam shot and hit people on the other side. And the taunt on Heavy's fists has the added benefit of having way more range than a normal taunt kill. So the Pootis Pow is perfect for trying to kill people through seam shots. Well, in theory, anyway. In practice, Doing this is unbelievably hard. See, these gaps are extraordinarily small, but when you do the lineup on Sniper, you can see your sniper dot go through the wall when it's working. So you can sort of just aim at the wall roughly at the right angle until your dot goes through. But when you're trying to do this with taunt kills, you have no visual feedback whatsoever. All you have to rely on is this. The command CLShowPos1 will show you your coordinates. So you have to get the lineup on Sniper, screenshot this part of your screen, then switch to Heavy and get the lineup just right so that you can taunt through the wall. Fortunately, you only have to worry about your horizontal position and horizontal aim. So you're only really looking at these two numbers. But even with that, if you do it slightly wrong, you have no actual way to know if it's working or not. You just have to rely solely on your coordinates and your instinct. And even when you get the lineup just right, you need someone to not shoot you and slightly nudge you. Or you need your teammates to not walk into you, pushing you around. And most importantly of all, you still need a guy to perfectly walk in front of this exact spot at the exact right moment so that you can taunt kill them. As you can imagine, this can take quite a long time.
I've been Pootis powering here for about 4 years. My dog's really mad about it. He's like really mad about how long I've been Pootis. I haven't fed him, so.
I did this for hours. Days, even. If you played Uncle Topia a few weeks ago and saw a Heavy just like staring at a wall for 15 minutes straight constantly, yeah, hello, that was me. Sorry about that. But after enough time spent, eventually...
There's a guy there, I can see his shadow through the wall. Let me kill him. Oh! Oh, fucking God! Yes!
This might just be the best taunt kill ever hit. Like ever in the history of the video game. Now, Seamshots exist on more maps than just Upward. Upward just happens to have quite a lot of them, and they're all relatively useful. But if you want to go out of your way and find Seamshots yourself on other maps, I've got some tips for you. This bug only occurs when a wall that's aligned perfectly to the grid meets a wall that has some sort of diagonal part attached. So this setup here is a great example. You have a wall that's aligned with the grid, then this wall is diagonal along the grid. So where these walls meet, there's a seam shot. As long as your aim on your coordinates is aiming at 90-degree angles on the grid, aiming at random corners in geometry for long enough lets you shoot through a ton of different spots. But the diagonal part of the wall doesn't actually have to be the part you're firing through. The brush just needs to have a diagonal part somewhere on it. So a setup like this would work perfectly fine for a seam shot. This brush has a diagonal on it, even if that's not the part we're actually firing through. So there are many more seam shots out there that are hiding in plain sight, way more difficult to find than these ones. Like, check this one out. Behind this box on last, you can fire through these two brushes into this room. The diagonal part of this brush is not visible anywhere because it's outside the map, but it is there. This makes for a bunch of seam shots that are basically invisible to the naked eye. But fortunately, someone created a solution to that problem. There's a tool called the Seam Shot Calculator that I've linked down in the description. If you put in a map file, it will generate a config that you can run that allows you to scroll through every single possible seam shot on the entire map. Every one of these red lines is a gap that you could potentially fire through. Most of these red lines are useless to us, like they're on geometry outside the map, or they're on random bits of wooden scenery somewhere. Or you can shoot through the seam, but there's another wall or prop or something on the inside of the wall that you're firing through that the bullet will collide with before it can make it all the way. But occasionally, this tool will show you a seam shot that is totally usable and allows you to do some totally ridiculous things. Learning about this was kind of like learning that we live in a simulation or something. It's like, what do you mean you can just shoot through walls if you look at them in the right way? Like, I've been playing the game for 18 years. What do you mean? A wall bug is a source engine glitch that allows you to sort of stick to certain walls in the map. This works on any wall that's not aligned with the grid, similar to the walls we were talking about earlier in the seam shot example. So these diagonal walls, for example, can be stuck to by wiggling into the wall slightly. If you want a more detailed explanation of exactly how they work, then check out this video for more. But wall bugs let you do some very funny things, like stopping your fall damage, or hovering in the air above unsuspecting players, or just seeing over walls that you shouldn't be able to peek over. There's quite a few wall bugs on Upward that are very well known. Most notably is these two here. These fences have clip brushes extending all the way up to the skybox. Big invisible walls that you can't see and you can't pass through. And because they're diagonal against the grid, aligned with the fence, you can wall bug on them to shoot over the wall, which leads to hilarious clips like these.
Yeah, shot a guy.
And Upward has a lot of what you might call invisible wall bugs. Wall bugs on invisible walls that have no good visual cue that they're even there. Take this fence, for example. This fence has a giant clip brush around it, way bigger than you would expect just by looking at the fence. And this clip brush extends all the way up to the skybox. So anywhere that's directly above this fence can be wall bugged on at any height. And these fences are everywhere on Upward. And if you thought those were crazy, check this one out. This one's just a random invisible wall outside the map. There is literally nothing here. No fence, no nothing, but you can wall bug on this entire surface. But the placement of these wall bugs makes them a little bit tricky to actually use for anything. See, if you're a class that can actually get up there, like Soldier or Demo Man, you don't really have the effective range to actually do anything from up here. But what if you could get up here, not as Demo or Soldier, but as Sniper? Sniper can't rocket jump, but as it turns out, with the help of a friend, you can get up here just fine. The force of nature launches you incredibly high. So all you have to do is recruit one of your friends, crouch on top of their head when they're playing scout, and they can blast you into any wall bug on the entire map.
Holy shit. But if I move my mouse, I'm gonna fall.
At first, we started with the super simple wall bugs. You know, the ones everyone knows about. But then we got a bit more crazy with it.
Lowering your sentries sound funny.
I got one. Just speedrun it, speedrun it. Go, 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 go. Boom. He hit me instead of you.
No.
Oh, shit. Go, go, go.
That was not good.
The holy grail of wall bug sightlines is this fence right here. You can get a wall bug that allows you to see all the way across this enormous sightline right to where blue team congregates to try and push last. And the things you can do from up here are unbelievable.
It's fucking awesome.
With symptoms.
Oh, I got the same guy again. I got the same guy a second time.
But there is one problem with sniper wall bugs. And if you know anything about wall bugs, you've probably been screaming at your monitor the entire time I've been talking. The problem with sniper wall bugs is actually aiming at people whilst you're up here. See, when you're in a wall bug, any mouse movement that you do will get you unstuck from your wall bug. And you have to try and get restuck with your movement keys before you completely fall to the ground. So every single sniper kill from a wall bug has to be a flick onto the guy's head, otherwise you're never gonna kill anyone. Unless, of course, you get really lucky.
Blowing that guy's mind. Oh, I didn't even move. Yeah.
Now, there's one other thing that these wall bugs allow you to do, and that's shooting into the blue team's spawn during setup time. And speaking of which, the first blue team spawn on Upward is really, really stupid. This entire left side has a giant hole in it. This means players can shoot into the spawn during setup time. On super old versions of Upward, you could actually jump around this house and land on the cliff right next to blue spawn, which is just completely insane. But even without crazy stuff like that, you can still shoot into the spawn room in a variety of different ways. You can arc stickies over the fence so that they land in the spawn and then det when someone walks past. You can rocket jump to peek over the fence and shoot inside. And you can even wall bug on this fence and just shoot straight into the spawn room. But there's another, even more powerful way to shoot into blue spawn. And that's from these stairs down here. If you stand all the way on the edge of this corner right here and look towards the spawn, you'll notice that your view is blocked by this cliff and this big rock. But the rock has no collision, so you can fire directly through it into the enemy spawn anyway. You can't actually see what you're firing at, but with a little bit of practice, this is incredibly easy to do.
I hit him.
Now, this is funny and all, but shooting some poor chungus through this rock with a crit rocket while they're just stood AFK in spawn isn't exactly hitting a clip, now is it? So I devised a funny plan to get a kill with this trick that's actually like, you know, cool. And the plan looked something like this. A drop shot fired completely blind because of this rock obstructing my vision. This took me quite a few attempts, and with enough time spent, eventually...
Oh!
Oh my god.
It's beautiful. It's incredible. What a beautiful clip. It was on someone who I was in VC with. I killed someone I was talking to, so all of my YouTube comments are gonna say that they're a paid actor and say that the clip's not real. So I went and did it again.
Medics over there? Yeah, nice.
Oh! Oh my god! So this part is just going to be a quick fire round of all of the funny things about Upward that I can think of that aren't large enough to put in their own segment. If I miss any, let me know in the comments. There's a bunch of spots where you can taunt kill people through the floor with the equalizer and the escape plan. When you're in a spot with a thin ceiling above your head that forces you to crouch, your player model clips through the floor and the explosion spawns at the top of your right hand, killing people on the other side and keeping you safe. I usually wouldn't bring this up in a map specific video, but Upward has quite a few of these that are all really funny, so I thought I'd bring it up anyway. My favourite spot for this is on these beams under these stairs. This spot is a little bit tough to get to, but it's very unpredictable, so no one's gonna think you're down here. There's also one on these boxes that kills players through the ceiling here, and there's one on these boxes near the full health pack that kills people on the floor above. In fact, there's too many to go over on this map, to be honest. Basically every staircase you can stand under has one. Go experiment for yourself to find some more. There's a lot of rocks and wooden beams and stuff on Upward that have no collision, because if they did have collision, walking into them would be like really annoying, so the mapper turned that off. But this means you can hide sticky bombs inside of those rocks and beams, and these rocks are everywhere. There's also this one wooden beam here that has no collision, and there's a really evil mini sentry spot that allows your gun to shoot people through this bit of wood, and the enemy on the other side can't easily see where they're being shot from. You can build on top of this doorway thing as engineer. Build a dispenser on the tallest part of this hill and jump on top of it to then jump to place a teleporter up there. Then teleport to it and build a little sentry nest. This sentry spot isn't actually good against people with brains, but a wrangled sentry gun up here in casual is basically unkillable. You can shoot through this staircase in front of Red's first spawn, which means you can also taunt kill people through it, and this is thin enough that you can even backstab people through it as spy, which is pretty cool. There's also a few spots where you can resupply through the ceiling using what's called a head bug. If you jump into a ceiling, then press crouch shortly after you hit your head, your bounding box will slightly poke through the ceiling for a split second. You can do it in this spot here as red team, and this spot here as both teams at certain points in the game. Now is for the funny places to stand montage. Some of these are good hiding spots, some of them are good sniper sightlines, and some of them are completely pointless. I'm bound to miss a few here, so let me know in the comments, but here are the ones I can think of. Now this one here is impossible to get into just by looking at it, because you're not actually stood on this rock. If you stand on this rock, you die instantly. So here's a short tutorial. You want to walk off the cliff and tap and release S to go down the cliff face really slowly. And you want to look for this little corner part right here, and you want to be slightly to the left of it. Go down as slow as possible and get as close to the rock as you can without actually touching it. And eventually, while you're holding S, you will stop sliding and start standing on the side of the cliff. I learned about this spot from a video by a guy called Tect. You should check him out, he has some cool videos. Anyway, back to the rest of the spots. And to end my video about Upward tech, I'm going to show you all the clips I hit while playing Upward that didn't manage to make it into the rest of the video. And I hope you enjoy. Oh my god! That guy got fucking owned. Did he quit? He left the game.
He wants to.
Not your president.
Oh!
Basically, I need to figure out like how I'm gonna handle like a specific like API request, like a specific request.
Oh my god, sorry.
What the fuck?
The hell?
He's ascended.
How is he sliding? He's floating.
And he's no longer, he broke out, he snapped out of it.
fucking beast.
Hold. I need to
Oh,
cut the
that's
sentry
way
there.
right.
Oh
I can
shit.
see.
Oh, you up there?
You're a pedo.
Oh, Swag's fucking joking that shit, look. There you go, med drops. It's as easy as that. New boned. Don't push me! I was fixing my hair. Push me off a cliff.
We're like we're four of six people. Sorry, 4
I'm
or 5
stuck
people on
in
our
the
team. So
ceiling.
like,
Help! This isn't even what I was trying to do. I'm just
oh wait,
stuck.
this one, yeah. This one.
Help! The whole squad's stuck in the fucking thing. Whole server's stuck in the wall.
You, Alice.
I killed a guy on the way past, and then he typed, "Damn." Going.
He's gone. Non-verbal.
Spy behind you on hill, like, doesn't really matter.
He's dead.
Okay, he's pissed.
Swag's having fun. It's like he's enjoying himself. That's him. Anything to be stimulated, you know.
Sorry, the voices are.
You
The
are
voices are strong
fucking-
today.
you're
The voices are so strong
bad.
today.
You're so shit.
The voices are so strong today.
Trying again. Boom.
Free?
It's free. Thanks for watching.